Hello and welcome to the inaugural episode, the pilot episode of Smarks Wrestling Podcast. I am Mike Bamonte, joined by my co-host.
I'm Louis Carrillo. How y'all doing this evening?
We're going to talk some wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so to start things off, Louis, how do you feel about Triple H stripping Daniel Bryan of the WWE World Title?
Well, let me first of all say thanks for having me on. This is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to this, to hopefully many more. But what I'm feeling right now about Triple H and the whole stripping of the title, kind of understand where he's coming from. Gotta have a champion defend the title. If he's not physically able to go out there and perform, then we need a new champion. On the flip note of that, kind of not, got the whole Dean Ambrose not defending several months, and he wasn't.
Yeah, he was U.S. champion for almost a year and defended the title, it seemed like 5 times.
Exactly. So my little issue with that is, how come he can't get that kind of treatment with it?
Well, I guess the world title is the focal point of the company, so where the U.S. championship, they really give 2 craps about, it seems like.
Tell me about it.
How'd you feel? Like, I love Triple H's trolling of the audience. I think he's really killing it on the microphone with all of his heel stuff, getting the heat that barely any wrestler seems to be able to get these days or wants to. It seems like everyone's just concerned about selling their merchandise and not actually being a bad guy.
If you can't troll the audience, you're not doing your job. If he's not out there getting these people to boo him the way he should be booed for being the bad authority figure on the WWE, he's not doing his job. So I agree with you 110% on how he's trolling these people.
Now, do you feel when Daniel Bryan comes back, do you think they'll put him right away into the title run, or do you think that they'll let the authority...
Come on. That's Triple H. It's Triple H and the authority. You think they're actually going to let him go right back into it without him having to climb back up the thing? They're going to put him through a whole mess load of obstacles to get him back into the title.
Jumping a bunch of hoops again?
Of course. I wouldn't be surprised if he's the last entrance in the Money in the Bank.
That would be ridiculous if they stripped him of the title and he was able to wrestle.
Put him on it.
What I, now thinking of it, have the strange and sad feeling is that they'll put him again in the same horrible program with Kane that he left. If it was like 1998 to about 2002, Kane was a monster. But around 2002, the Katie Vick saga, Kane's a necrophiliac, that kind of put an end to...
Devil's favorite demon.
Yeah.
He's going to always be, scary to most people. I don't know about me. Kane's issue now is I can't take Kane too serious.
No, he was only a month ago. He was corporate Kane walking around in a business suit.
Mm-hmm. And his wife beater. His wife beater. He had a wife beater on.
Yep.
Really tight wife beater that it was too fresh for him. But that's the WWE for you. They want to go back and forth. Bring this guy into a corporate Kane, and then all of a sudden demonic Kane.
Yeah,
where they go with it, I don't see.
I think it'd be pretty funny if they made him have some split personality, and he shows up to like Raws and stuff as corporate Kane, and then as things piss him off, he's fighting off the demon Kane, and then until he can't have no more.
Well, the only issue I see with that is they'll be biting off of TNA. Boo, TNA. TNA had I don't know if you watched TNA, the Abyss, Joseph Park thing.
Yeah.
I would hope WWE would never do something like that. That was a terrible storyline.
It's TNA.
It's TNA. Total nonstop assholes. Terrible. They're not even TNA no more. They're Impact.
Are they really?
Yeah, they're.
See, I've vaguely watched them. Really? I've usually sometimes when I'm trying to go to sleep at night, we'll put on an episode on demand, and I pass out. It puts me to sleep pretty quickly. So yeah, I definitely am not missing anything. Now,
parents, if you're having issues with your kids sleeping, put them to watch TNA. They'll go to sleep right away. Trust me.
Screw those Tylenol PM pills. It's no good for you.
Don't give him that. Put him in front of a TV, watch TNA for about half hour.
Done. It's stronger than Ambien.
Yes. Very
now,
done.
All right, another thing I want to touch on is, do you think that, like, how when the camera panned back on Raw and the titles were already hanging, do you think that kind of ruined a little bit of it? If you're there in the live audience or something, you already...
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're there in the audience and you already see the titles hanging, you know that Daniel Bryan's getting stripped of the title. That's a no-brainer there. To the TV audience, it's good to have it up there because they're not seeing it. When you're there live, you're definitely seeing into it.
Sorry. It just looks like it might be clipping. My apologies.
No, it's fine. Fine, yeah.
That's our initial time. This one's probably not even going to stay online. Another thing I want to touch base on is, do you think Daniel Bryan should have been there to give up the title and, not just be sitting at home twiddling his thumbs, I guess?
In my opinion, to make Triple H and Stephanie look more heelish, no, he shouldn't have been there. That gets them more heel heat, makes them look more like total assholes for doing something like that to him, but without him even knowing, he probably didn't even know about it. If they did do it right,
they had the titles, so he has to know a little bit because they got the titles from him.
But I mean, they don't necessarily have to tell him what they're doing, with the title.
I would like to hopefully believe that Daniel Bryan has enough common sense that if they ask him for the titles, he's not just like, oh man, maybe they're shining him up for me, real nice.
Well, Daniel Bryan might not know. He let Brie Bella quit, to help him keep those titles. I would hope he would hold on to those things,
That is just a fart in church. That went over about as well as a fart in church, basically, with that now. She quit for no reason now, and he's not the champion. So the authority has Triple H. He's Santa at Christmas, and he's got all the toys. He always wins. He's not.
Triple H gets he wins. He gets his thing. Regardless how many times he's been beaten by Shield about Daniel Bryan, he wins. He gets what he needs. Even people may hate him for it. You're gonna boo him for it, but he's probably right now one of the best heels out there.
He's the game.
He is the king of kings. He's definitely the king of kings.
He's a cheap Conan knockoff. And not the Barbarian. We're talking the LWO. I'm just playing.
That's unbelievable. He's still as popular as he is heel-wise for as long as he's been in the company.
Yeah, he's a top-notch talent. There's no denying it.
There's no denying it. I know some people out there would think that he's just hogging up the spotlight, but if you can carry the company the way he's been carrying it, especially as a heel figure, and to go back and forth between heel and face, that's kudos to him on that.
And a lot of people say that that we all know about the golden shovels, but if you think of it, that man in the last few years has been putting people over. Like, he put Daniel Bryan over so well at WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah.
And he's recently in the last few years, since he's not really been in the title run, he's not a full-time wrestler anymore. He's been doing his best for the most part to put over new talent, something unlike the poster boy of WWE ever wants to, John Cena and his Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah. Enough respect to Cena for everything he does outside of the company.
Yeah, he's a good guy, but we're talking about this is wrestling. We're kayfabing it here.
This is, when it comes to putting over talent, Bray Wyatt, he couldn't put him over.
Why put over a heel that then you could actually make money with as a monster? Let's just lose it. And speaking of the Daniel Bryan, John Cena, let's toss in. So Daniel Bryan with Kane runs away like a scared bitch, basically, when Kane was, a few weeks ago, and the demons unleashed, and he's Daniel Bryan's horrible acting and Brie Bella, the two of them, which was a god-awful segment where he's trying to start his car and drive away. Yeah. And then Super Cena gets put into a week or 2 weeks ago, not this past Raw, but the Raw before it, goes against Kane. And John Cena's now his 6 moves of doom, which is the grabbing the ring steps and chucking them at you. Just chucks it at Kane, puts him out like he's nothing, and walks off. Like, why would you not do that with Daniel Bryan when he was champion and still kind of healthy?
Daniel Bryan can lift those stairs. Those stairs aren't light. Cena's freaking jacked.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, you're putting over Cena still harder than you are your world champion.
Sure.
Your world champion's running from Kane. Cena's throwing steps, and you can't see me, Kane.
Throwing steps at him and Bray Wyatt.
Oh man, yeah,
just flung that steps at Bray Wyatt was ridiculous.
Another dick move on Cena, because that's a dangerous spot to the wrestler. You're getting those steps thrown at you, or Cena doesn't have
done Cena if you would have heard Bray Wyatt seriously and knocked him out. That's not.
I'm sorry,
cool,
Vince.
man.
I guess you can't hang with an A+ player. Vince McMahon's my favorite wrestler of all time. And here's my new loincloth you can buy because I'm John Cena. Have you seen that's ridiculous too when he comes out with that stupid like dish rag that he's showing?
Promoting it.
I know he's promoting. It's just so like.
That's the worst thing you can do is come out and then show the little loincloth that he puts up and then runs down and. I can't talk about Cena no more. Let's
go.
Cena. Eventually, probably later in this podcast, we'll bring up Cena's name again. But
unfortunately,
right now, Daniel Bryan giving up the title. Unfortunately, being stripped of the title was to me a good and a bad move. Love to see Daniel Bryan get it. Hopefully, when he comes back healthier, he'll get a little better run, which I'm thinking they will. But I like to see this. Hopefully get Bray Wyatt in this title picture. I love to see Bray Wyatt in this title picture.
Agree with you 100% on that. Yeah. That Bray Wyatt, you could make him the top heel in the company if you make him the champion. If you put him over with this crazy psychotic guy is your world champion, and he does literally have the whole world in his hand, and have him with just going over Cena and everybody that no matter how hard they tried, their heroes have lost, and his mysterious, crazy Southern character is now the champion and is taking on the whole world to be his followers. I think that would be good, and then you can set up Daniel Bryan or someone to eventually
dethrone him.
Yes, exactly.
That would be the route I would like to see happen. Is have him Bray Wyatt get a good maybe he qualifies for this Money in the Bank match that they're doing, in 2 weeks is it?
Yeah, two pay-per-views this month, and a total of 3 pay-per-views in the span of I think 6 weeks is what WWE is doing. Because we got this pay-per-view, and then I think July 14th or something around there.
Thank you WWE Network for making it cheaper on us to watch these pay-per-views. By the way,
it's
$60 pay-per-view was no good anymore.
Now 6 months of pay-per-views plus every old pay-per-view, which we will be doing some retro episodes too eventually on this. But we're going to do current, and we're going to also do old stuff. We will suffer through Bunkhouse Stampede 88 and NWA Starrcade, really Bloodcade 83 and 84 and all those, so you don't have to you can watch them, which will be great, or you can just listen to us in the future ramble on for like an hour about them.
About how some are terrible and how some are great.
But no matter what, there's blood. They did not care about hepatitis back then.
No, they didn't. Axe Abdullah the Butcher. If some of y'all don't know who that, Google him. He's a crazy man. He likes to stick forks in people's heads.
Yes, he does. Now you touched on Money in the Bank. I think we should go to that. Now we've got, so far they've announced 4 of the 7. I want to say what I think was hilarious was that 3 of the 4 have had to wrestle, but one of them just got anointed by Triple H, and that's your boy Randy Orton laying poolside. The photo, if you don't follow, he's between him and Ryback, they've got to be 2 of the greatest internet trolls that there is right now. Like Randy Orton with his picture, like laying poolside, like, oh, sorry I can't be there, but thanks for putting me in the Money in the Bank.
Twitter. Bitches, something like that.
Well, it was
Twitter trolls.
I really, really enjoyed that. I thought that was hilarious, and I really haven't been that big of a Randy Orton fan for a while, but I think since hasn't been the champion and got put back in Evolution, it's let his character actually get more heat, and not like X-Pac's heat, actual like legitimate heat for him.
Randy Orton as a focal point of the main WWE. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He's not. He's past that already. He needs to be where he's at right now as a secondary player to Triple H's heel persona with the authority. He plays that role so much better.
Upper mid card, basically.
Exactly. Yeah, as an upper mid card bad guy for Randy Orton, Mr. RKO, he would be 10 times better than what he was as the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. He's got his title reigns 10, 12 reigns?
11, 12, yeah.
He's up there in title reigns. I think he's done his thing for a world title reign. Now's his time to be that heel again where he, helps Triple H screw somebody over, or now that Seth Rollins is a bad guy, he can help him, win some big matches, screw over somebody else, get that rub for younger guys like Seth Rollins, and since they're moving him as, I guess now going to be the number one heel for WWE, right?
We'll go on to this. Let's talk about that in a little bit. Yeah. Let's keep talking about the guys right now in the match, because we have a whole lot to talk about with Seth Rollins and Shield and all that.
Cesaro,
the King of Swing. Yes. All right. First off, excluding Vince McMahon, Cesaro has the greatest ring strut ever. Like he's second to McMahon, but he's second only to McMahon. That the moving the shoulders and hitting the fists and the King of Swing with the old King of the Ring logo, like
just myself.
Yep, and Paul Heyman to me have been the best. He's obviously Brock Lesnar's the best Heyman guy because he's the beast in car. But of the new talent, if you go with Ryback, Curtis Axel, and
that he's
Cesaro,
taken under his wing, Cesaro's been the best.
Actually makes sense as a Paul Heyman guy. He definitely seems like he's on the cusp of becoming a top-level talent. Like, he's one of the best in-ring workers there is in the company, and he knows how to put on a hell of a match. Like, every time he's in the ring, it's amazing.
Him and Bad News Barry, when they had their little brawl last week, was great. Sheamus, he does this kind of same moves over and over, but he knows how to execute them.
Yes, and he's Sheamus is 275 pounds. It's an angry giant ginger coming at you. So yeah, we got Cesaro, who I think we're both in agreement is one of the best, brightest stars there is right now. Him and Heyman. Heyman's probably the best on the microphone in the entire WWE. Just this past Raw with his wrestling in Minnesota, gearing up the crowd, telling them, this is the home of Brock Lesnar.
He had me fooled.
It's been
Brock Lesnar was
it's been months, and his client hasn't actually celebrated his WrestleMania victory, and it's time for his WrestleMania celebration, and my client Cesaro, who won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. That was awesome. That was the knock, who's there? Mike Lyon. Brock Lesnar conquered the Undertaker's undefeated streak at WrestleMania. Every week he is just killing it on the microphone, getting heat, no matter what crowd it is. They start loving him and Cesaro, and at the end they
hate him.
They hate him.
That's the mark of a good heel, though.
Yes, and that's something that's missing heavily in WWE right now. All right, let's touch on the Sheamus making it in. We'll get to that. Yeah, Sheamus making it in. The Sheamus Bad News Barrett match. What did you think about that one?
The match was awesome. I loved the match. I thought it was a good match for the Monday Night Raw. Definitely pay-per-view quality match. They beat the shit out of each other.
Yes, they did.
My only issue with it is, putting Sheamus in that match, in that Money in the Bank match, because Bad News Barrett is.
Bad News Barrett is. He is the
B&B.
B&B. He's
B&B.
I'm afraid I've got some bad news. He's.
Do that again. Do that.
I'm afraid I've got some bad news. He is so good right now. Coming out with the cape, the whole shtick, and you can tell he loves his character. Like when it first premiered, it was kind of rocky. The crowd didn't really get it. He was just doing it at the announce table. When they gave him the elevated little stand to be on, and
got better.
God, it's been so good.
The crowd is loving it too. I mean,
Yeah, he's a heel, and he was over more than Sheamus was in that match.
Yeah.
He was definitely over. A couple things I didn't like is, one, they didn't make any sort of mention that, hey guys, this is our United States champion versus our Intercontinental champion.
They just made it look as two
guys that have titles that could give two fucks about their titles, trying to go for the world title. Like, I think that's one of the big problems in WWE is you've got 5 total titles: the unified World Heavyweight Champion, U.S. Heavyweight, Intercontinental, Tag Teams, and Divas Champ. You have 5 titles. Why not give your Intercontinental and your United States champion some legitimate storylines? Why don't we have guys vying for those titles? Why isn't your former champion Big E, who was doing awesome stuff, then got the title and did nothing? He got the title and they just were like, he's got a title. Who cares if he's in anything that means any sort of thing?
His matches that he had, I think the only time he defended the titles was against Curtis Axel.
Yeah.
And that was it. And he beat up Curtis Axel, made him look like nothing less than perfect. Because he's not better than perfect.
No, he's not.
Don't get me wrong.
And like you could easily have a month-long program at least with Big E and Bad News Barrett, if not even a couple months. Having some sort of tag team or 6-man tag matches, little segments on Raw, have them interfere in some matches or something. Do something there. And then Sheamus, as your U.S. champ, he should be involved in some sort of feud too. They should be able to have feuds. There's only 5 titles. My God, in the Attitude Era, there was so many more championships that they had. You had a hardcore champ, European champion,
Intercontinental, U.S.
Tag team. They had 2 different sets of tag team champions. You had the World Heavyweight Champion, and you had the WWE champ. I mean, there was
storylines for all of them.
Yes, and now you
can't even get these guys a good storyline.
No, they don't continue anything. It's like once something's over, it's something that could happen 2 weeks, in the past. It's like it never even happened. Like, whatever.
The big addition of Mr. Alberto Del Rio.
That was what I was about to say. How much does the backstage heads of WWE hate Dolph Ziggler? Like, nobody cares about Alberto Del Rio at all. I mean, he has not had any sort of... He doesn't even get a crowd response at all. He's just... It's sad, but no one cares about Del Rio right now. He's lost.
Ziggler
still gets huge pops.
Huge pops every time he comes out. He puts in his work. He does a great job out there in the ring. I don't know if you caught his match he had on Main Event last night.
No, I did not.
Awesome match, for Main Event.
Him and Seth Rollins, right?
Him and Seth Rollins, where they put on a show again, and won a good match. He had a really good match. It wasn't, pay-per-view quality. It wasn't, Raw quality, but it was a good match.
They've turned Main Event into something that you should watch from time to time.
They had 3 good matches on
Main Event. Where in the past, before, the network, who cared about Main Event back in the day?
Stunk.
It did.
On the Ion channel.
Yeah, the Ion channel. Jesus.
Really terrible.
On the Ziggler front, there has been news that Ric Flair is, as long as he passes a physical, is going to become a full-time character again on WWE TV. And apparently, he's supposed to become a manager. Now, there's been talks of The Miz and Ziggler. Who do you think he should manage? What do you think would be the best fit for Ric Flair?
Why not both of them?
Take on...
Yeah, why not form a little, faction? They did a little thing before with Miz and Ric Flair when Miz took over his, figure 4 leg lock. Why not put them in as a tag team and, get this tag team division up and running? And this tag team division is, to me right now, a little flat besides.
It is. It was really good in October of last year. They did that Raw that every match was a tag team match, and they had so many tag teams. And then since then, all right, you broke up the primetime players, you broke up Tons of Funk, you've now broken up Cody Rhodes and Goldust, you've broken up the New Age Outlaws are gone, they've been broken up.
Yeah, but Billy Gunn got hurt.
Yeah, he did. But it was already the original plan to get rid of them. And I'm probably missing a couple of tag teams, but they
had a good run at titles and at the tag team division, and then that just went down to shit. They need to get, if they can move if they're not going to push Ziggler in a world title thing or intercontinental title thing, why not put them together with Miz, get them rolling as a tag team? They can do another John Morrison Miz type deal.
Yes.
You know?
Now, see, I do disagree with you that the Miz and Ziggler. I don't care for the Miz at all, really. I don't care for him. I would like to see Flair with Ziggler because Ziggler is an amazing wrestler and he's an okay to good on the microphone. He's not great on the microphone, and we all know the Nature Boy is tops of historically good.
Definitely.
And I think that if you have Ric Flair as his business financial advisor or something, teaching Ziggler how to be style and profile and be a limousine ride and jet fly and kiss steal and son of a gun, because he can be. He's got those blonde locks like Ric Flair. He's got the talent. If you put him there, I think that you could put him back in the main event picture because you could have Ric Flair do most of the talking, and Ziggler would probably learn some good things being on the road with him, and then just have Ziggler put out those A+ 5-star matches that he does all the time.
See, my reasoning for having Miz and Ziggler together is, they're not pushing anything going with Ziggler right now. Ziggler, he's losing matches to, Del Rio. He's losing to Seth Rollins. He's basically being put on the back burner. The guy is top-notch talent. He can work. He does his thing. He sells like nobody can sell in that ring.
Like Kurt Hennig, good at selling.
Yes, yeah, Kurt Hennig, like you hit him on the turnbuckle, he's flying like 10 feet in the air.
Yes. See, that again goes on, I think, on my end, that like he's been losing, right? Mm-hmm. The Nature Boy comes to the ring, that turns around. Yeah. But yeah, I could see the two of them being with Ric Flair. Maybe even Ric Flair starts a new type of like Four Horsemen where he's now the James J. Dillon. They may not even call it Four Horsemen, but that type of a stable where he's now like the James J. Dillon was to them. That he's
Who would you get in that? Miz Ziggler.
Let me think of this roster. Who could? Jesus, roster. What if it wouldn't happen? But you could put like Zack Ryder and resurrect his career. I know, I'm just playing, guys.
Man, he would need.
No, he's not on there. Well, okay. How about Miz? How about Miz, Ziggler, Curtis Axel, and Ryback? You have Ryback as your muscle. You got Curtis Axel as your, kind of like Kurt Hennig, who was in the Four Horsemen. Miz, who's got the look, and can talk pretty good. And then you have Dolph Ziggler, who's your A+ 5-star matches. Like
I would like to see that. Yeah, Axel thing is going over pretty good.
It's starting to finally get over. They seem like they actually seem like they like working with each other.
They're gelling a little better together.
At first they were both just like, get me the fuck out of this. The big guy.
The big guy is kind of liking it, and Curtis Axel's kind of liking it. Yeah. So I would like to see a little Four Horsemen-esque stable. Not with James J. Dillon, Ric Flair, aka Ric Flair, as their manager.
Yeah, all right.
That'd be
pretty good. They could, and you could actually start some storylines because you could have these four guys starting to ruin other people's matches, sure. and having each other's back. Exactly. Yeah. You're not wrestling one guy. You're wrestling four guys every night. Nice 5 guys.
Stable go in.
Clean house.
Clean house, definitely. They need to push Ziggler and Miz because Miz is right now doing Marine 4.
Jesus.
Just gotta laugh. I'm sorry, Miz.
Who watches these horrible movies? Like, how can you How can you go to a video store and be looking through all the videos and be like, you know what, Marine 4, that's what I need to see.
I made it through halfway Marine 2, and I couldn't.
Yeah, no. I've never watched any of them. But yeah, let's not even talk about that.
If you ever watch this, if you ever see this, you're good talent, but don't do acting.
Stop acting.
You're not.
Stop acting. And Summer Rae's in it too, so that's just.
Summer Rae.
All right. Now.
Summer Rae.
Yeah. So we've got 3 positions remaining in the Money in the Bank. Who do you possibly see taking those final 3 spots?
Well, definitely Bray Wyatt. I'd like to see Bray Wyatt get into it. Man, Man, I don't know. One's gonna go to your boy.
He's not my boy.
Your boy.
John
Cena.
Hustle, loyalty, and respect. No, it is. Yeah, Bray Wyatt and Cena. They kind of seem like it seems like a natural addition because John Cena has to be in it. If he's not in the title run every couple of months.
Cena. I personally think Cena's gonna be in it, and I love to see Bray Wyatt go into it and hopefully win it. But
now we have those two, which we both kind of were in agreement on. But who's number 7? Who is that other guy that could possibly go into that if we really think about it?
I can go with my boy B&B.
No, he already lost though. He lost
They can do it. They've done it before.
All right. I've got a.
They've done it before.
How about this one?
Mm-hmm.
What if they put the Bulgarian brute Rusev in there?
Rusev.
Even though it would probably seem like it's a little fast. Or never mind. I'm gonna take that one back. Actually, I just had a better thought. Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns would be a good addition to it, but they're gonna have him him and Randy Orton go at Money in the Bank.
No, Randy Orton's already in the Money in the Bank match.
Oh, that's right.
See,
what am I thinking?
That leaves Ambrose to go against Seth Rollins probably, and then you've got Roman Reigns in there. That
big brain fart, my fault.
Yep, it's all right.
Totally big brain fart there, but yeah, definitely, yeah. Why not throw Roman Reigns in the Money in the Bank? Yeah, Roman Reigns, Cena, and Bray Wyatt.
There we go.
Number 3.
We'll see how our predictions pan out.
Yeah.
We probably got 2 or 3 right.
At least 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns.
If Cena wins, though, my God, it's just like just let someone else be champ. Cesaro. Think of Cesaro and Heyman with the championship. Heyman now saying he had the guy that conquered the streak in Brock Lesnar, and he has the King of Swing, the Swiss Superman, the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, the Paul Heyman guy who brought him to the top like he said he would. Cesaro, because you're not allowed to have first names.
Mention Antonio.
You're not allowed to have. You can't. Big E Langston, nope. Big E. Antonio Cesaro. I'm surprised that Alberto Del Rio is not just Del Rio or Alberto at this point.
Well, yeah, they changed Alexander
Rusev to just Rusev. Exactly. Dolph Ziggler's just going to be Ziggler, and Bad News Barrett just going to... Well, yeah, they dropped Wade. There you go. He's just bad. All right.
Bad news.
Okay. Now, we've kind of touched base pretty good on that. How do you feel about NXT and all the new superstars? They've been bringing up a lot these last few months from NXT, and you guys, if anyone is actually watching this, don't know, but we live in South Florida, so we have the luxury that we get to go to NXT live events about every 2 months. They do it not even about 10 to 15 minutes away from where we live. Like it's literally like 5 miles away from where we are. They do the NXT events, and they do the tapings in Orlando, which is about an hour and a half, give or take, of 15 minutes either way, depending on traffic.
Depending how fast you drive.
Yeah, there you go. Now, let's think. You've had. Let's do now. Everyone, we all know that the Shield came from NXT and Big E. Those guys were the old ones. But let's go on the more recent ones. It probably started with Xavier Woods, who, yeah, he broke up tons of Funk, had the Funkadactyls for a moment, and then
I think he had him 1 week.
Yeah, and then he was with R-Truth for a month maybe, and
Xavier Woods is not gonna really amount to anything in WWE where he's at.
Yeah, not with that gimmick.
Not with the gimmick he has of coming out, dancing and everything. It's not him. He's lower card level, dark matches, main event match type deal. When a new guy comes in, he's gonna get squashed.
Yep.
So him out of all the NXT stars, you gotta basically rule him out. He's not gonna be anything in this company.
At this moment, yeah, I agree. I'm 100% with you.
sad, but because he's a good talent. We've seen him in NXT.
Yeah, we've seen him in NXT.
He's put on some really good matches, but unfortunately, where he's at in WWE right now,
he actually had a hell of a match a few months ago against Tyler Breeze.
Yeah,
and he beat Tyler Breeze, who's now the NXT's #1 contender for the title against Adrian Neville. Now, after he debuted, we had Emma come in from NXT, and she's in NXT. She got over with her little dance thing that she does.
Bubbles.
Yep, and she's good. She's a cute girl. She can wrestle pretty decently. She was grouped with Santino, and they had their awkward, like, kind of flirtatious thing. And it seems like recently they've just done nothing with that. They just again, WWE writing, like, just
the first NXT event that they had on WWE Network.
Mm-hmm. The initial, like, pay-per-view special they did. Yeah,
I forgot what the name.
It wasn't Takeover was a recent one.
Takeover was a recent one.
Yeah, but anyways, you guys know, you can figure it out.
But the match she had with Paige on there, fantastic match. For two divas coming up, Paige is awesome in the ring. She knows what she's doing.
That's another thing. Let's go with Paige. Mm-hmm. In NXT, if you watch NXT, Paige was a badass who they brought up that she comes from a huge wrestling family, which she does in the UK. She's been wrestling since she was like 11 years old. She just turned 21. She's a killer, and she had, she was the anti-diva in NXT. Yeah. And then they debut her in WWE, and she's this, I'm not ready for this, and she wins the championship, and she's had no mic time to... What's her character? She's hot, and she screams in a match, and she can kind of work, but they don't even let her do too much in WWE. Like, she's your champion. She hasn't had, like, one promo or segment.
She hasn't had no promos at all.
Nothing.
To my knowledge.
Nothing. She just, any
promos.
So no one, and right now, hardcore fans watch NXT, but the casual fan that just goes to Raw or turns on, they don't watch, they're not in the NXT storyline, so they just see this girl and, like, what, is she good? Is she bad? What emotional investment do you have as far as her WWE character? I think they've really done nothing to help that out.
This past Thursday on the WWE Network, they had the NXT show there where it was Bayley, your girl Bayley, and Charlotte wrestling.
Yep.
Really good match between them. Charlotte is, she's gonna be good. She's gonna be good. I give her a lot of props. She puts on a really good performance in the ring.
She learned well from the Nature Boy.
She learned well from her dad. Her dad must have taught her really good. But they had a good thing at the end where Summer Rae came back. And they had the BFFs, them three and Sasha Banks. Them two and Sasha Banks, beat the heck out of Bayley. Mm-hmm. And then Emma and Paige ran down, cleared house.
Yep.
And that crowd went crazy. If you get a chance to watch that, or if you got WWE Network, or even if you can YouTube it, watch it. It's a really good match between them.
And check out Paige on NXT. You'll see she's a hell of a wrestler. Mm-hmm. It's just sad what they've done so far. Hopefully they change it. Fingers are crossed that they actually give some character development. Now we've had her. How about your boy from the Exotic Express?
Don't be a lemon,
be a rosebud. Who, if you watched NXT, Adam Rose was Leo Kruger for a good 4 years. He's a former FCW champion. When NXT was FCW, he was champion like 4 years ago. He was Leo Kruger till about January of this year. I was at the NXT house show where he came out as Adam Rose, and at first it was horrible at first.
Like,
but
what the?
Yeah, I will say now that they've made him. He's entertaining. He's got quite possibly the best theme, or of the best themes in WWE. His theme is more over than he is at this point, I believe.
His theme when they were over in the UK.
Oh my God, they were humming it. It was like Fandango after WrestleMania 29. He's a solid wrestler. It is pretty funny how he's kind of like he he does like heel type stuff where he like hops in the ropes and kicks his legs out at the people.
Keep the the other wrestler away from Swagger in particular.
Yes.
Swagger is the one he's been messing with now.
Now I heard how hilarious would it be with him if at Royal Rumble like next year, he has his entourage. If his entourage came down to the ring and every time he was like getting thrown out, his entourage is catching him and pushing him back in. Yeah. That would be amazing, and that's something that I actually do hope that they can do, because it would be pretty fun. I mean, he can't do it he's not going to win the Royal Rumble, my God. I don't see that character getting that over. But it would be a funny spot to have a few times where, like, people are trying to throw him out, and he just keeps getting...
It would be a good Royal Rumble moment.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, how many more things can Kofi Kingston do? That guy is... It's absurd, but
Kofi has done everything he possibly can do with a Royal Rumble moment. I don't think there's anything else he can do.
Yeah.
But knowing Kofi, props to you, Kofi. If you ever hear this, you do get some good spots when it comes to Battle Royals and Royal Rumble.
You're a hell of a worker.
Yes.
All right, now, I'm a believer. How about yourself with Bo Dallas? How do you feel about his character?
I'm believing in his character. I'm not believing in his in-ring work yet. His in-ring work is not where it should be to me. A finishing move as a running bulldog is not...
Well, he had to change his finisher was the spear, and now the golden child reigns as that. Yeah.
You can't take your main face, soon-to-be main face, Roman Reigns move, so that's understandable. Yeah. But a running bulldog, Bo, you got to come up with a different...
I'm going to contend on the other end that he is, to me, I've been watching him in NXT, and if you've watched him in NXT, he's kind of like making fun of John Cena and Tim Tebow. Mm-hmm. He thinks that the crowd loves him when obviously they don't. And the reason I think that he is kind of a okay wrestler is that if he's just an okay wrestler who believes he's the best wrestler, that only fuels and feeds into more of why you would hate. Yeah, hey guys, didn't you see it? Like that was the best match. Hey, like I
dropped an elbow.
Yeah, from the middle turnbuckle, like the Bret Hart turnbuckle, right? The middle. And a thing that he did in NXT, which I hope he does in WWE, because I heard a few weeks ago, is they've chanted on Raw. They chanted a couple weeks ago, "Bo ring." It's for like boring.
Bo leave.
Well, in NXT, he got a Bo ring chant, and he literally grabbed Mike. He's like, "Yes, this is my ring. This is Bo's ring. Yes, guys, you get it." Like, and it was genius. And like, it's just those subtle little things that he can pull off that I think when he's given time, he will start to show. When he gets a few months in, he'll start to show. And I'm pretty sure everyone knows, but for those who don't, he's Bray Wyatt's brother, who's Mike Rotunda. They're both Mike Rotunda's son, IRS, Erwin R. Shyster, part of Money Inc., the former tag team champions in the early 90s, a hell of a tag team, and one hell of a television champion in the NWA as well himself. And Mike Rotunda is a hell of a worker, and it's not a surprise that his sons are killing it in
Varsity
WWE.
Club.
Varsity Club, baby. Kevin Sullivan, Rick Steiner. Dr. Death.
If you get a chance, a couple of weeks ago when Bo Dallas fought Biggie Langston for the loser leaves
NXT.
After Bo Dallas, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, he loses the match.
He's
on Raw on SmackDown now. The after parts.
Oh my God.
Was amazing.
It was amazing, and they actually showed on this past NXT. They showed that he did more than what was shown on, because it's edited down to an hour. They even showed more of him telling the crowd, like telling him na, hey, goodbye. He's like, no, you guys get out. And he's like,
I'm calling the police.
He's like, I'm calling the police. He's like, I called the police, and then he's like,
he leaves, comes back out, says, okay, the police aren't coming, but I'm calling campus security.
Yes, which was
classic. That was hilarious. I laughed so hard on that. That was fun.
He's gonna be a star. I mean,
his gimmick right now is...
It might not be the great, but you can tell that he's got the talent that if he stays in the WWE long enough, he's going to click at some point, and he's going to become a top-level talent. Who knows? Maybe some point he stops believing in himself and joins the Wyatt family. It's his brother, and maybe they suck him in there
I
or
don't
something.
think WWE is gonna put him into that. He's clean shaven, good old
At the moment,
kind of American boy. But
I mean, yeah, let's see how let's see the
believing.
Let's see how that character does. I think they should let him stay as that character. It's pretty good. Now we've talked about everyone except for the one guy who ran through every black athlete on the WWE roster, Rusev. It was pretty weird how they've had him, when he came in, go against literally every black wrestler and destroy every black wrestler.
Yeah,
and now
what's up
now he's been destroying my boy Zack Ryder.
Finally got a white guy in there.
Yeah, exactly. How do you feel that his character is being portrayed? How do you feel about him and Lana? Obviously, another NXT.
I love Lana.
Yeah, we all love Lana.
Lana is awesome, a very beautiful woman. But the Rusev character, I am 100% buying it right now. I'm not rushing. I'm not. Because I got the beard.
You better watch out. He's got to talk nice. He's darker than I am. So in the WWE logic, he would get destroyed before I do by Rusev.
Yeah, Rusev will destroy me right now. But Rusev is right now. I think is going to be one of the number one heels going by the end of this year.
It's like they're
one of the top 5 heels.
Would you agree with me that they're building him up like a 80s, early 90s monster heel where he's just destroying people, like Sid Vicious back in the day would go against jobbers, just couple punches, sick power bomb,
done. That kick he does when they're bouncing off the ropes. Oh my God. I'm surprised none of these guys have broken their teeth or anything with that kick, but he times it good. I mean, for a huge guy, what is he, 280?
Oh, no, he's over 300 pounds.
Over 300?
He is a monster. I think he's bigger than Big E, and Big E's like 280 or 290, and he's over 300. What
a 4-minute match they had.
That was a hell of a for 4 minutes.
4 minutes was nonstop.
That was 4 minutes of amazing. Yeah.
Even though he beat Big E, but
that's his first legitimate victory, and Big E, the final piece of his black domination that WWE was putting him on. Jesus, WWE, you're pretty racist sometimes. I think that if they keep everything going like they are, he has the possibility to really be a legitimate like a la Kane in 1998 coming in. He has the chance to actually be a feared badass heel that holy shit, this guy can beat anybody. And then I think that sets up a beautiful possible feud with someone like a Daniel Bryan or maybe Cesaro or something that Rusev's been undefeated and he's killing it, and now you've got the monster face to finally put over. Now, knowing WWE, they're going to feed him to John Cena, and then Rusev will be dancing a month later on WWE television. Yeah. But not trying to be cynical, and actually, I enjoy WWE, so let's say that they don't screw this up, because they haven't so far, and I believe that he's going to be
I hope they push him as a monster heel going for at least the next year.
He should
dominate, even if he doesn't go up into world.
Yeah, he doesn't have to go for the world title. Just have him destroy. Even if he could just be a guy that just comes in and destroys. Eventually, people pay Lana or whatever to have him come out and rough up. In the backstage, knocks out somebody. They can't even make the match. There you go. Rusev's just killing people.
With his gimmick right now, with him coming out with the flag and the USA
and the Putin, the pictures of Putin. They finally put him on the horse, which I was. There's Putin with a tiger that they haven't done yet. So there's still more badass Vladimir Putin pictures.
They got a good amount of Vladimir Putin pictures coming up that I wouldn't doubt they see. That's messed up what they did to Obama, man.
Obama did that to himself, though. But they're just trying to get heat, Cool, now we did our NXT. Let's go to the big talk. Everyone knows it is the Shield has imploded, and Seth Rollins is now the new member of Evolution after Batista quit, because Triple H always wins. He's fucking Triple H. He's the king of kings.
Batista, this is all your fault, by the way. This implosion of the Shield.
How hilarious if Seth Rollins, why did you join Evolution? I did it for The Rock.
That was a Rikishi moment.
That was
right there.
when there was a moment where they tried making Rikishi a main eventer.
Didn't work so good.
No,
Rikishi, sorry, you were mid-level talent.
Yeah, he's too cool.
Too cool.
How do you feel about Seth Rollins' heel turn?
At the moment, I'm not too into the heel turn at the moment. Reason being is they could have done so much more with the Shield as a unit right now. You had, Batista leaving. They could have definitely inquired somebody else to join in that group of Evolution, maybe, to go against the Shield. Your Triple H. Triple H has ways of dismantling a group without having to, get in there. And dismantling him by getting Seth Rollins out of there was huge. And I think, Seth Rollins will eventually. I think of Seth Rollins more as a babyface than as a heel at this moment.
Yeah.
He is the architect of the Shield.
Yes.
But
he's the first NXT heavyweight champion too.
Yeah, first NXT champion. Great matches. He always puts on great matches. I give that guy nothing but respect on my level here. I'm a huge wrestling fan. Been watching wrestling since I was a baby. And if I'm giving you the respect, they may not think it, but I Seth Rollins is awesome, but to put him as a heel right now, I don't agree with it. It's too early for him to be a heel. He was great as a face, in my opinion.
See, now I disagree. I mean, he was crazy, but I believe that no one saw that coming. It was one of those moments which WWE's had a couple of them this year with Brock Lesnar ending the streak and then Seth Rollins, leaving the Shield. There had been talks in the past that the Shield was going to break up, and then they didn't, and they kept it going, which was good. And if anything, it was always like, well, Reigns or Ambrose, probably Ambrose would.
More likely,
yeah.
Ambrose would have been.
No one saw Seth Rollins. No one saw that going on that night, which I give kudos to. And I think it's better to burn out than to fade away. Like, you don't want it to turn into the NWO, which was quite possibly the best faction when it started, but ended.
But you don't see anybody adding more people to the show.
Yeah, that's a good thing. But
good thing
I believe that him turning heel is gonna. He's now gonna be he's a main eventer. I'm not saying that he wasn't, but now he's gonna be a legitimate, like, this guy is your top heel. He's gonna be. He's got the heat. He's got everything. Which you're speaking on being a babyface. What gets you more over as a babyface? That if you weren't the most hated guy, that eventually finally turns good. And now, so I think down the line that he's going to get a bunch of good heel heat, get him into the main event picture, and then probably one day turn him face for a fucking fly to the moon, baby face run. So I really like it. I think it made it interesting because that Raw, my God, that was a horrible Raw till that happened. Yeah. That was rough.
It was good when Batista quit.
That was, and getting cheered, getting a standing ovation from the crowd
that was pretty funny when Batista quit and everybody's like, yeah.
Yeah, like they're happy that he's gone. Yeah.
That was almost as good a reaction as when Ziggler came out and cashed in on Del Rio last year.
Oh man, that was awesome. Now, let's go over. Who do you think is?
One more thing I wanted to mention
please, by all means.
About Shield before we start closing up here. Dean Ambrose promo from Monday night. It was awesome.
It was.
I love the fact that he said, "I'm gonna rearrange your face and put your nose over here and your hair and rip it out, put it where your teeth used to be." The way he holds the mic is like, normal people hold the mic like this. He's holding it like I'm gonna squeeze the hell out of this, and
he's got that Roddy Piper.
Yeah, he's the Piper of this generation. It's, Roddy Piper. Watch him on Legends House right away. Another promotion to the WWE Network. You got WWE. Y'all should pay me for this. Or this WWE Network I'm promoting on y'all. But Legends House is an awesome show.
It is.
Really good.
Season finale is tomorrow night, Thursday.
Tomorrow night. It's very, very good show. But yeah, I think Dean Ambrose is going to be a great heel eventually.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. He's one of the top talkers. I think Bray Wyatt in my eyes is the best talker, and then Dean Ambrose is right there with him. he can work. The guy can wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the look in his eye that he just wants to beat the living hell out of you, and it's believable. Like he's very believable in this day and age where everyone knows what really goes on in wrestling. He still has that like this guy legitimately looks like he's pissed off at this guy and wants to actually kick his ass like it was in the 80s and 90s. Like these guys used to actually project that they want to kill each other, and there's a lot of cocaine and steroids involved back then, but it's
who knows if that's still now. You never know. We don't know. We're not saying there is. We never know though. It
was a golden era of wrestling.
Golden era, the white nugget. That's what they would call it, the white nugget era. But definitely Dean Ambrose is a very, very good on the mic. He's awesome in the ring. He's gonna be, in my opinion, one of the greatest, not the greatest, but one of the best heels coming up within the near future.
Yeah,
in my personal
I'm 100%
opinion.
behind you. There's nothing I could disagree with. This man's just spewing out valid points. You guys need to listen. That's why we're the Smarks.
We're the Smarks. We know what we're talking about. If you don't like it, we got 2 words for you.
Suck it.
And anyways, we're getting close to the end of our show here. We normally like to do what we want to do is start off with maybe a wrestler of the week. Every week, nominate who we think would be the best wrestler. The 3 people we thought of was, Sheamus,
Bad News Barrett,
and
Luke Harper.
And
we both are in agreement on that. Luke Harper, my oh my, if he is a top-level talent. And if this was the 80s when there was territories, this guy would be your number 1 heel, basically.
Mm-hmm.
He has that crazy he just looks at you with those eyes. He doesn't even have to say anything.
He had a match on main event. There's 3 good matches on main event. Rusev and Kofi Kingston, Luke Harper and Jimmy Uso, and Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler. One of the best main events I've seen in a while. But the Luke Harper Jimmy Uso match was a really good match, very good match for that main event feature. I think they went about 10 minutes of nonstop heavy hitting thing. And spoiler alert again, Luke Harper lost. But in losing that match, the facial expressions of him losing
with the beard,
he's looking up and all you can see is nothing but hair and his eyes just creeping right over his beard, and the maniacal look he had on that was top notch.
And I think that's one of the awesome things about the Wyatt family is they have portrayed a character that doesn't care if they lose. They could really care. They could give 2 fucks what the outcome of their match is. They want to hurt you, is what they project, and they want to get into your mind and screw with you. Like, what is up with these guys? And Luke Harper, I think I would say is the best big man in the business right now. That guy's 6'9", 300+ pounds, and he flies around that ring. And he's got a hell of a big boot. His clothesline is a lariat, which he just everything he does makes sense on the ring psychology of a match. He knows how to sell stuff like on Raw when they had the match, the Wyatt family versus the Shield and John Cena. He went against Roman Reigns, and there's a spot in the match where he's trying to suplex Roman Reigns where we know he could. He's bigger than Reigns, but he tried picking him up twice, couldn't do it, and then Reigns picks him up with no problem, and it makes Reigns look like a superstar with superhuman strength. And he knows how to put talent over, and he knows how to make those looks. And now the last few weeks they've been giving him mic time, and the guy can actually talk. The guy is actually pretty decent on the microphone. Like, it just seems like as time goes on, he's going to get better and better and better, and really seems like he's going to cut out a piece of a main eventer pretty soon for himself. I think Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper, if the Wyatt family ever break up, even if they don't, they seem like they're both going to be main eventers. And Eric Rowan is like a good mid-carder. He looks like a guy that will be a really good stepping stone for an up-and-coming person to get to that next level.
When we do these wrestler of the weeks and everything, we're not looking at wins, losses. We're looking at it to be who went out there and showed us something that was amazing. And the past, on Raw and on main event, just seeing what Luke Harper does in the ring. You know, even before that, you know, we're giving him kudos for that when before the Cena and Bray Wyatt Last Man Standing match, when Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family was just hovering over Cena. And
oh God, and Luke Harper counting to 10.
Counting to 10, that was just awesome. You know, with him counting 1 and Bray Wyatt singing, he's got the whole world.
2.
In his hands. You know, it's
gold.
It's gold.
It is. These are guys that are top level talents. This is the reason why we watch pro wrestling. When it's good, it's better than anything. And unfortunately, a lot of it isn't that good right now. But there are some really excellent things. The Wyatt family, Bad News Barrett, Cesaro. You know, there's some Daniel Bryan when he's healthy. There's some and Triple H and stuff. There's some serious awesome stuff going on right now.
Shield is awesome. Seth
and we have a really good storyline that we are in the infancy of right now, is what's going to happen with the Shield, what's going to happen with Seth Rollins and Evolution, and where is WWE going to go with this. Hopefully it leads to some great matches and a really great angle. I would like to see WWE start to have multiple angles that mean stuff again, that when you're putting on Raw, you're excited for almost every single person that's walking down that ramp and marking out. You know, that's what it's all about. You're supposed to be entertained.
Exactly. Well, I guess that is it for us today, guys. If you like the show, please, you know,
like, comment, share. Please, you know, we're gonna start doing this every week, and we hope that you enjoy our opinions. And we're the Smarks.
We're the Smarks, and we kind of know what we're talking about.
See you guys.